Today I'm doing a review on the Thinkscan 662. This was sent out to me free of charge to do a product review on, so let's open this up and see what it can do. Some of the main features they list on this are a 6.2-inch touchscreen, bidirectional scanning so you can do some active tests, 4 system diagnostics. It does the ECM, the TCM, the SRS, and the ABS. It does 12 service functions and also has lifetime free updates. If you're wondering about the device itself, per the website, it's running a 4-core 1.8 GHz CPU, has a 4,150 milliamp hour battery, 1024 by 600 screen resolution, has 2 gig RAM and 32 gig ROM, and uses Wi-Fi 2.4 gig. Looking at the unit itself, it feels pretty sturdy, has kind of a maybe a softer, like plasticky, almost rubber type on the outside and kind of harder plastic where that brown is. Here you can see it on the back. Got the serial number and everything. Looks like the side has a little port on it for, looks like for charging, that USB-C and a micro SD card, and the OBD connector on the top, as well as the power button. But overall, it feels really sturdy in the hand. And of course, it has that OK button, the directional button, and the back arrow button on the right-hand side. Inside the packet, you also have a silica packet, I guess, to keep it dry. You have your OBD2 cable to connect to the port, and a charging cable, USB-A to USB-C. So that looks like everything that's in the box itself. So we'll go ahead and get this thing powered up and get it testing with it. Okay, I shortened the video a little bit here, but powered on takes about the same amount of time as powering on a phone. Came with about 100% battery, so that's nice. We'll get started. I'm not going to run through the whole process here, but likely there will be a lot of updates. So I'm going to go ahead and get this connected to Wi-Fi, download the updates, and get back on here. The upgrade process is pretty easy. Here you can see I'm just got a bunch of them that are waiting to update, and I have a good Wi-Fi signal, and it really didn't take too long to get everything updated. I didn't have to enter my email, which was great. I really like handheld units that you don't have to, send them your email and, get it activated that way. So I didn't have to do that. So anyways, I'm just letting these update and then I'll jump back in. Okay, I have the OBD2 reader plugged into the OBD port, starting up the car, and then we'll check this out and look at some stats. Now I think this does do a screen capture, but I'm just going to go ahead and film it with my phone here and kind of hold it, but I think I can keep it pretty steady, so it should work good. Now you can see the kind of the menu tree. They have diagnose, you have maintenance, upgrade, and some stuff across the top, kind of like tabs. And like here you can see the different maintenance features you can do. Go to the upgrade, and that's where I did the upgrade. And then you have more, which allows you to view your saved files and that sort of stuff. And then you also have a menu on the side. So we can go straight into diagnose and look at those different 4 modules that it tests, or we can go straight into OBD, and that's what I'm doing right here. We'll jump in, scan it, and look at some, probably start out with, I do like looking at live data. So let's jump in here. Okay, it found my VIN. It's telling me that my malfunction indicator lamp is off. 5 readiness is completed for the readiness settings, and 3 were not completed. So here you can look at your different modes: IM readiness, live data, freeze frame, look at your fault code. So for the IM readiness, it's going to probably say that 5 of them are ready, just kind of like we saw in that previous menu. So here you can see ready, a few not readies, and some not supported. Then it kind of scrolls down to the page 2 of 2. So you got page 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. So this is good for if you're trying to just get set up for your emission testing, which luckily I don't have to do that right where I live right now. Live data. This is nice having a touch screen, so you can just tap these and get into it and don't have to use the buttons at all. So okay, so it's showing that I get to select what I want to view for live data. Now I'm going to go ahead and select all and click OK. But I do notice that when you're graphing, sometimes it's better to just select like just what you want to graph, and then it's not trying to grab all that information, because sometimes your graphs might not be refreshing as quick, or the data might not show up. So, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and select all, and here you can see everything's showing. Up top I can click metric or imperial, and I think there's like around 50 items that are going to show up here for this car, but you know, it shows me the number of DTC stored in the ECU, so 0 trouble codes, so that's good. You know, you can see the absolute load value. You know, that's changing. I can graph these if I want. You know, my throttle position. You saw that change when I was giving it gas. Barometric pressure down there, you see that's 14.7 psi. That changed when I clicked imperial to metric. You can see the different settings for there. Then you have your calculated load value, your catalytic temperature, command throttle actuator control module voltage. You know, a lot of these items are going to be somewhat the same when you're looking at at different cars, but some of them will slightly change. Like you know, one car might have 2 mass airflow sensors and another car might have 1, or one car might have 2 catalytic converters, you know, and you might have single exhaust in another car and just have 1. So some of the stuff is make and model specific. You might not have a certain sensor on your car where another car might, so just keep that in mind when you're seeing what I see here. You might not see the exact same stuff on your car. One other thing that's nice to do is if you can get a factory service manual for your vehicle, and that will show you a lot of times what range your values should be in for this. So, you know, it might show you, you know, at idle what range you're expected to see. So that can be really helpful for troubleshooting. Also, a lot of these settings can vary according to engine size. So anyways, I do have a video that specifically kind of goes over OBD2 live data and kind of what each one of these things means. I mean, some of it's self-explanatory, like, you know, engine coolant temperature. You can see that's your engine coolant temperature, but or engine RPM, you know, rotations per minute of your crank. So anyways, I'll put a link to that other video in case you want to see it to get more a detailed explanation. But like here you can see I'm just kind of graphing the RPM, and you can see as I hit the throttle, you know, the engine speeds up, and you know, that crank's rotating more, so you get more rotations. Back to the main list of items. You know, there's a lot of them here. One of the ones I like is that 18 engine runtime since diagnostic trouble code's cleared. That's 48 minutes. I cleared something not too long ago. This is useful buying a used car. You may want to see when the last time they cleared a trouble code is, so you know, you can go in there and check it out and see if they cleared something recently, or maybe they're trying to hide something by clearing it right before you look at the car. Fuel system status, that's a good one. Closed loop. Open loop's kind of when your engine's cold and it's not using the input from these sensors for calculating the air-fuel ratio. Let's see, your location of oxygen sensors. This has bank 1 and bank 2. This is a V engine, a V6. So basically it's got your bank 1, which would be one cylinder bank, and your bank 2 would be that opposing cylinder bank, and then you have multiple sensors on there. So like when you have dual exhaust as well, you know, you can have 2 catalytic converters instead of a single catalytic converter. You got your fuel trim, bank 1 and bank 2. Again, I said this is a V6, so that's good to know. And as you can see, I had 2 mass airflow sensors on this engine. So here you had your short-term fuel trim and your long-term fuel trim, but I did jump out, and I do want to show that it works better when you're graphing multiple items to jump out and just grab just the items that you want to look at. So I'm just going to select just a few items here, and you can see them, and then when I do graph them, the values showed up, you know, and they were all adjusting. I did have an issue where, you know, I was trying to view all 50 items and I had all those running, and then I wanted to graph like 4 of them together, and like one of them wasn't really one of the graphs wasn't really updating. So, you know, it's, I think, just too much information coming in at once and then trying to sort that. But it works good if I just come out and I select exactly what I want and just graph those items independently. So anyways, here you can see it's adjusting each one, and you can graph them together, or you can graph them in separate graphs, which is nice. So anyways, that's OBD live data. I just look at trouble codes. There should be none on this car. I just recently cleared them. Yep, no fault codes. Okay, so next I'm jumping in to look at the diagnostics, and this is going to be where it will scan those systems. So yeah, the ECM, the ABS, the SRS, and the TCM. So this scans 4 modules. Now sometimes there's more than 4 modules in a vehicle. You might have your body control module or a different one, but this one does 4. And it seems like a lot of these scanners in this price range, that's kind of what they're doing with these handheld scanners is they do these 4 main ones, but there are sometimes more modules in your computer too. So here you can see it did a quick scan on them. So I'm going to go back out. And here I'm going to jump into the ABS. And these are kind of like, in a sense, it's kind of like live data as well. You can read like statistics in here of what's going on live. So you can look at your fault codes, you could read your data stream. And you're going to get different things than you will with OBD2 live data. OBD2 live data is focusing mainly on your emissions. So I'm going to select all here, and we'll see what we got here. So here you can see, these are all related to the ABS. So you can see the battery, you can see various sensors. You can scroll up here, and it looks like it has the option to graph stuff too. So you can see your other sensors, your motor relays, input solenoids. So it's got a lot of extra information in here as well, and it's kind of the same as the ECU. You're going to see extra information in there that you didn't see for being emissions related like OBD. You'll be able to find extra items. So here you can see that yaw rate sensor. So I'll jump out of there. I'm going to back out of all of these. I mean, this tool does a lot, and the video would be crazy long if I tried to show you everything it does. So let's jump in and look at the maintenance stuff, because it had those 12 maintenance functions. So let's see, that's going to be up under the maintenance tab, and here you can see it helps with ABS bleeding, and it does airbag reset. You can do battery matching. Brake pad reset. DPF regeneration. If you have a diesel, I guess that's important. Electronic throttle adaptation. So you can initialize your throttle adapters. Gearbox learning. Then you got your anti-theft key matching. This is interesting. For cars with IMMO system. I'll have to look into this more. But that was kind of cool. Injector coding. So you can write your new injector codes. You got your oil reset for vehicles that need to have it done through the OBD. You got your steering angle reset. You have your TPMS reset, tire pressure management system. So anyways, you can bring it up into this. That's kind of a nicer looking. Okay. Haven't been to this yet part, so yeah, it's kind of just walking through some menus. But yeah, okay, it shows them all here. That kind of gives you a better view, so you can see them all and pick on the one that you want. So I don't have time to go through all these right now or do anything, but definitely useful features to add on this for this price point. I think it's pretty great. Okay, I'm gonna go in and look at some of these reports or something real quick. I'm gonna try the buttons. Okay, the buttons navigation seems to work pretty good. I can use the buttons to toggle through here. We'll go into, okay, you got your history, got your report. Let me just go into report. I think I like the touchscreen a little better than the buttons. Some reports on there I can go in and look at, and these are just items that I've saved. So let's look at one of these data streams. You can probably hear that it started raining here. The rain's hitting the windshield. But yep, it saves all this information, and I mean, this is just really handy to have, to be able to save this stuff. So when your car's running good, you can run through here at idle, and save a bunch of your values, and then you can also check it at like 2500 RPM or something to save the values. Then when your car's running bad, you can come back and do a comparison check. So super useful, super handy. This is seems to be a great tool for troubleshooting. I'll definitely be using it a lot, and so far, I think I just kind of scratched the surface on what it can do. I mean, it looks like it does a lot more than what I went through, but just, for the sake of time, it looks like I'm already up to about 15 minutes. I'll go ahead and stop this video. But yeah, great tool. I'm very happy with it, and I can't wait to use it more. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.